And in fact, I would like to start by thanking all of you out there who have taken out this time to dial in. I think it's a great sign that there is this interest about emotional intelligence, and hopefully it will become clearer in this webinar why that is so crucial. So what we're going to cover today is what emotional intelligence is, why it is one of the most important attributes for leading a project or any other endeavor, how you can develop it, and in which ways you can use it to overcome challenging situations on your projects. So we're going to delve straight in. I gave you a brief introduction about myself, so really we are going to move into the content of the webinar. And as we do that, I would just like to get some abbreviations clear. Now, IQ, I'm sure you all know what we mean when we say IQ, intelligence quotient. We really refer to a person's cognitive intelligence. Today, we're here to talk about EQ, and of course, I'm going to explain to you what that means. But EQ in this sense stands for emotional quotient, and EI stands for emotional intelligence. I am going to use those last two abbreviations interchangeably, just so that you know when I say emotional intelligence or EQ, I really mean the same thing, just to be absolutely clear about that. Now, I am going to start with some questions for you to get the debate going, and you can, of course, type into the chat box. I would like you to answer which of these statements you feel are correct. So number one, a high level of EQ can never compensate for a low level of IQ. So in other words, a high level of emotional intelligence can never compensate for a low level of cognitive intelligence. If you feel that's correct, you put number one in the chat box. Number two, emotional intelligence is about managing your emotions so that they don't create conflict in the workplace. If you feel that's correct, you can put number two. Number three, after the age of 40, our level of EQ is hard to develop. If you feel that's right, you can put number three. And the last statement here, EQ is important to project managers, but not as important as IQ. So these statements are really quite provocative. I am just curious to find out what you are saying. And some of you are saying they're all correct. Some of you say that number two and number three is correct. Always thank you for all your contributions. I'm scrolling through the chat box here. One is saying one is false. All are correct. Actually, none are correct. Yay! Finally, we have the correct answer. And I'm sorry if I really caught you out here, and if you think I'm a bit mean. Actually, to my mind, none of the statements are correct. So, a high level of EQ can compensate for a low level of IQ, and I'll explain to you why. Emotional intelligence is not about managing our emotions so that they don't create conflict. That could be the reason, but that's a very limited way of looking at it. Emotional intelligence is about managing our emotions so that we get the right result. Sometimes you may choose to escalate a conflict quite deliberately. So it's more about being conscious about what you do rather than just avoiding conflict. Your level of EQ is never set. Thank God, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. I'm over 40. In fact, many people develop their emotional intelligence as they mature. So really, we can continue to develop that. And number four, well, to project managers, both are important. EQ is very important as well as IQ. So none of them are really correct. So why are we spending time on this webinar? Why is this really important? Well, EI, and this is what studies have shown, is the single biggest predictor of personal and professional success. In fact, studies show that people with a high level of emotional intelligence outperform those with low levels. And it's really interesting. In fact, 58% of success in all job types can be attributed to high levels of EI. And it's probably because we're not sitting anymore in small cubicles where we're not communicating with anyone, doing deep processing. So, of course, cognitive intelligence is important, but we all need to communicate with people. We all need to be able to relay our information. We all need to be able to build relationships, to trust others. Otherwise, we are not able to generate results. I think a lot of the heavy processing that we may have done in the past with our brains, that's been taken over by computers. So the question is, are you interested in becoming a better performer? Are you interested in adding more value to your clients or becoming a more sought-after project manager, if that's what your job is? Then you definitely need to increase or refine your levels of emotional intelligence. Now, this is not something I'm making up, thank God. This is actually from the father of emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman. He really brought emotional intelligence into the mainstream awareness with his book in 1995. And there is a picture of his book here on the right-hand side, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than Cognitive Intelligence. And what he found in his book was that over 60% of the abilities that are essential for performance were related to emotional competences, and that when it came to leadership, that number rose to 90%. So the more you progress up the ladder in your jobs, the more it's likely that emotional intelligence will play a major role to your success. And I think the answer is what I mentioned just a moment ago. The more you move up, the more you are likely to rely on other people, on communication, bringing people with you, motivating people, as opposed to just being able to use the cognitive side of your intelligence. Of course, if you're just starting out in a job, if you're very junior, it's important that you get your knowledge, your skill sets, your ability to handle tasks up to scratch, such as in project management, for instance, like planning and risk management. Of course, we need that. But beyond that point, it's really a question of being able to use your.
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.